Hello everybody, it's Bill, it's that college football guy, here with another video. Part 2 of the 4-part Big 12 prediction series. Alright, so we have, on this one, we have Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, and Iowa State for these 4. Let's just say that it didn't go well last season for these schools. How well, except for in one case, how well is it going to be this season? Well, let's start off with the first one. Let's start off with Cincinnati. 3-9 last year. Vegas has their win total for this season at 5.5. Scott Satterfield, this will be his second year. How well can he improve? Because so much turnover last season. Now he has a chance to come over and take things over. How's it getting there? And the question is for Cincinnati, how good can Brendan Sorsby be? How good can he be, the starting quarterback? How good can he improve? That's going to determine Cincinnati's season. I mean, wide receiver, running back rooms are both solid. Offensive line looks to improve from last season. They have some turnover, which is to be expected. They allowed a ton of sacks last year. They've got to lock up the pass protection. Defensively, the defensive line, damn good. Actually, solid to good. They were the anchor. They're going to be the anchor of this defense. A linebacker rooms, DB rooms, both got a lot of turnover from the portal. How well can everybody blend together? That's going to be the key for this university. So, shall we get this started here? Cincinnati's schedule starts off at home against Towson State. Yeah, you're going to get a win on that one. Then at home against Pitt. If you watch the ACC predictions, you already know that I have them losing to Pitt. Then they're on the road at Miami of Ohio. Yeah, you heard me, at Miami of Ohio, because this is a home and home. And Cincinnati played Miami of Ohio at home last year, and you lost by 7 at home to a MAC school. You're looking for revenge. Even though you're on the road, I got you beating them, Cincinnati. But if you lose 2 times in a row, Scott Satterfield maybe having to update his resume. You lose to Miami of Ohio 2 years in a row. Yikes. Then you come on at home for your first Big 12 game, at home against Houston. You beat them by 10 on the road last year. And beat them on the road. I think and because it's early in the season with Willie Fritz in them, and it's gonna be early for them in the season, the adapting to the roster and everything, I think it's gonna take them a few games. So you're gonna catch them a little bit. If they've been later in the year, I'd pick Houston, but because you're at home and it's early in the year, I'm picking you to beat Houston. Then you're on the road at Texas Tech. Texas Tech just has more talent than you do. I'm sorry. So even though you're on the road too to boot, yeah, you're losing that game. So you're going to your first bye. You're 3-2 in the bye. Come out of the bye on the road at UCF. You lost by 2 at home last year. UCF is better than you are, and you're on the road. UCF is going to beat you. You follow it at home against Arizona State. If you watch part 1, you're learning about this one. You're going to beat Arizona State at home because it's cross-country travel. That helps you. On the road at Colorado. This is where traveling is going to hurt, since you got help with Arizona State. It hurts you against UCF, but you're kind of used to the UCF environment. But Colorado, traveling out west, I think it's going to hurt you. You're going to lose on the road at Colorado. Then you come out of your bye. Then you're at bye, and you're doing a 4-game stretch here, which is the toughest 4-game stretch of the season. Start off at home against West Virginia. You lost by 21 on the road last year to West Virginia. And the margin of victory might be smaller for West Virginia, but they're still going to beat you. Then you're on the road at Iowa State. Iowa State beat you by 20 at home last year. Now you're on the road. Yeah, they're going to beat you again. I had to load my truck up right now. Then you stay on the road and you travel at Kansas State. You didn't play them last year, but it doesn't matter. K-State is just too damn talented. They're going to beat you. You finish it off at home against TCU. Again, not enough talent to keep up. You're still building up from being an American University, G5 to the Big 12. You don't have the talent. You're going to lose that game. So you're going to finish the season 4-8, 2-7 in conference. Now we start off with the Colorado Buffaloes here. They were 4-8 last year in the last year of the Pac-12. Vegas has their win total of 5.5. This is year 2 of Coach Prime Deion Sanders at Colorado. Year 2 of the kids being there. Year 1 of Pat Shurmur being the offensive coordinator. Now, he runs more of a conventional offense. How well is that going to translate? I have no idea, but we're going to find out about that. As with everything with Prime, every room got an overhaul in the transfer portal. All of them. So how well is this going to work? The offensive line got revamped. Seaton is going to be a big addition, but the problem is, and he's a great player, tends to be great, but he only plays one position on the line. And Shedeur ran for his life last year. Is the depth enough to allow him to stay upright late in the year? That's going to be the big key to this. So, I mean, basically, is Travis Hunter going to wear himself out from playing two-way again? How's that going to go? That's just everything on there. The defensive line was horrible last year, beginning into the portal. Everybody was overturned. Everything got an overhaul. We already know this. All right, so let's get into this, shall we? Week 1 at home against North Dakota State. There are some people out there who actually think North Dakota State's going to beat Colorado. Now, can North Dakota State, they say, like, is FCS schools tougher than G5s? No, but North Dakota State, South Dakota State are equivalent to a G5, and a good G5. They're like a James Madison type level school. Somebody that you have better talent than, but you better not overlook them because they will beat you. But I don't see Colorado doing that. You're at home. You're going to beat North Dakota State. Then you're on the road at Nebraska, where you won last year, and home against Nebraska. I think it was Nebraska last year. Anyway. But if you watch the Big Ten video, you already know the answer to this, because it came down to everything is even. Can freshman Dylan Raiola of Nebraska outduel Shedeur Sanders? One word answer. No. Colorado beats Nebraska on the road. Then they're on the road at Colorado State. Now, this game was tight last year because for the simple fact, it was an 8-point win in overtime at home. You underestimated Colorado State. I don't think you do that again, because if you do that again, you will lose to them, because they have absolutely nothing to lose in this game. He said, it's our Super Bowl. For them, it will be. And they got the bad taste in their mouth from last year. But I think you're going to be keyed up. I think it's early in the year, and I think you're going to beat Colorado State starting off the season. Now, you're at home against Baylor. If you watch part 1, Baylor fans don't like this, but I have you beating Baylor at home. And then you go on the road at UCF. This is where travel hurts you, because you're going from Colorado to Orlando, Florida. Cross-country travel is going to hurt you in this game, and UCF is no slouch of a team. They're going to beat you. So you're going to be 4-1 going into the bye. You come out of the bye at home against Kansas State. Both teams have a bye going into this game. So that's even. You're at home, but Kansas State just has more talent than you do. They have more depth than you do. That's the biggest problem with Colorado, lack of depth. Everybody thinks it's a 1 or 2 year fix. No, this is 4 or 5 years to get the depth built up, to get everything recruiting going, to get everything established, and this is not a short-term fix. Even though he's flipping classes to build a culture, so to speak, it's going to take 4 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to take time, so this isn't a quick fix. But then you go on from Kansas State. You're on the road at Arizona. You saw part 1. You already know this. You lost by 3 at home last year to this team. You're on the road. Fafita's keyed up. The team's keyed up. And if you're on part 1, you're losing to Arizona. Then you're at home against Cincinnati. We literally just did this. You're beating Cincinnati. So that means you're 5-3 going into the bye. One more win, and you're in bowl eligibility. But this is the 4-game stretch that is the toughest that you faced, and it is the murderer's row. I'm not going to say what the games are. You've heard what they played. North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, because I know we have Colorado fans. Your next 4 are at Texas Tech, home against Utah, at Kansas, home against Oklahoma State. Welcome to the Big 12. Plus Utah thrown in. All right, so on the road at Texas Tech, you have the bye going in. They play a tougher game the week before. But the problem is that this is the point in the season where your offensive line depth hurt you last year, and I think your offensive line depth will hurt you this year. You're on the road at Texas Tech. Even though you have the bye, I got Texas Tech beating you. Then you're at home against Utah, where you lost by 6 on the road last year. You lost by 6 on the road when they had all their players out hurt. You lost on the road. Now you're playing them at home, but they're back, hopefully. It's late in the year. But Utah's more talented than you are. I have you losing to Utah. Then you're on the road at Kansas. It's not that bad a travel time, but it's still you're going on the road to play Kansas. And I have you losing that game. You finish the season at home against Oklahoma State. People have thought that Oklahoma State's already going to be locked into the Big 12 championship game at this point. They may rest some people. No, they won't, because they want to guarantee they get in. They want to be hot, keyed up. They're traveling to play you, but you're a former Big 12 school. You're not one of the newcomers. Kansas knows that. Oklahoma State knows that. And Oklahoma State beats you. So you're going to finish the season 5-7, Colorado, a 1-game improvement on last year, but 2-7 in conference. Now we get up to the Houston Cougars, 4-8 last year. Now we got a new head coach, Willie Fritz from Tulane. Complete roster turnover. Well, not complete, not as bad as Colorado's, but, Kevin Barbary comes in from Mississippi State to be the OC. I forgot his defensive coordinator. Brought. I think it's this guy from his defensive coordinator from Tulane came in. How is this team going to be adapting from this? But the thing is, having a lot of the Tulane players came over. A lot of them know the system. The offensively new, but defensively, it's the same system. So they're going to adapt rather quickly. Donovan Smith returns as starting quarterback. How else is he going to translate this system? The running back and wide receiver rooms, all the offense needs to improve. The offensive line lost 4 of their 5 starters. I mean, it's just a lot of turnover there. Defensively, you brought in 13 players from the portal, a lot of them from Tulane. The linebacker room probably is going to be the star room of the defense. It's rather good. But everything else all depends on how everything blends together. So, shall we get into this with the Houston Cougars? We're talking the Houston Cougars here. You start off the season at home against UNLV. I like Vegas, but they're not enough to beat you. You win that game. Then you're on the road at Oklahoma. Big fat L. You're not beating Oklahoma. Then it's home against Rice. Rice is a good, solid team, but they're not Houston. Houston, you're beating Rice. Then you're on the road at Cincinnati. I literally just did this. You lose to Cincinnati on the road because they beat you last year, and I think they're going to continue to beat you because this is early in the year where you're still getting acclimated. Once you get out of your first bye, that's when things are really going to start gelling. Then you're at home against Iowa State. Iowa State, this was a game that I literally thought that Ohio State and Houston, this is when you're starting to get your things going together, but it's not fully there in Iowa State. I kind of almost thought this was a coin flip. Almost. And it's a coin flip game. So you're at home. Even though people have Iowa State better, I have you beating Iowa State because you're at home. Then you're on the road at TCU. You lost by 23 at home last year to TCU. I'm sorry. You don't have the talent to keep up. And you're on the road. TCU beats you. Then you get your bye. So you're 3-3 going in the bye, alternating wins and losses. Come out of the bye on the road at Kansas, where you lost 41-0 in Lawrence last year. You got a very bad taste in your mouth about that game. Actually, at 40, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know why the hell. But now you're playing Kansas this year, and unfortunately, Kansas beat you again. Then you're at home against Utah. Utah, Cam Rising them, and provided the crew stays healthy, they just have more talent than you right now. This is a changeover, too, on top of it. So I have you losing to Utah at home. Then you're at home against Kansas. I screwed up, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Now here's where I screwed up. Kansas, you didn't lose. Okay, at Kansas, you didn't play them last year. You're losing to them. Home against Utah, losing to them. Kansas State's the one you lost 41-0 on the road to last year. Now you're playing them at home. I realized I wrote State late. That's my fault. But you're still losing to Kansas State, too. Then you get the other bye. You play Arizona on the road, out of the bye. You saw part 1. Actually, Arizona, at Arizona, home against Baylor, at BYU. All covered in part 1. All 3 losses. Changeover. time. It's just a bad year. You're going to finish 3-9, Houston, 1-8 in the conference. And last, but some would say not least, Iowa State, the Cyclones, Matt Campbell's crew, 7-6 last year. I forgot to mention one thing. I'm not the only one. You think I'm going 3-9 is bad on you guys? Vegas only has Houston as your win total of 4.5. They don't think much of you either. It's just too much turnover and everything else, and the schedule is brutal. Iowa State, 7-6 last year. You lost to Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, which is basically it was a home game for them. Your win total, Vegas has you at 7.5. Matt Campbell, 53-48, 8 years at Iowa State. Tyler Mauser gets promoted from tight ends coach to offensive coordinator. How well is he going to handle that one? Rocco Beck, your quarterback. How well is he going to be in his sophomore season? Probably be the starting quarterback. Running back and wide receiver rooms are solid, but they both need to improve over last year. The offensive line is experienced group, but they did have lapses last year. They need to improve. Defensive line and the DBs are both solid. The linebackers are the ones I have the most concern about. They need to improve because they kind of are, based on who's coming back, it's a little bit lacking compared to last year's squad. So how are we getting up here for Iowa State? All right, you start off the season at home against North Dakota. Not North Dakota State, North Dakota. And you're beating North Dakota. Then you're on the road at Iowa. The Cyhawk game, Cyhawk Trophy. And if you watch the Big Ten preview, you know you're losing on the road at Iowa. Then you get the bye. You come out of the bye at home against Arkansas State. Arkansas State, Sunbelt school. They just don't have the firepower to keep with you. You're going to beat Arkansas State. On the road at Houston. Literally just did this. You're losing on the road at Houston. Just explain that. Home against Baylor. If you saw part 1, you're beating Baylor at home. Then on the road at West Virginia. If I have my notes here. This is a game where you have a great team and they have a great team. Both of you seem to be a little bit less than what you could be. This was a coin flip game for me. You're on the road, so you're Iowa State. You're losing at West Virginia. They're at home against UCF. UCF also is a team that's in that same level, and I have the same thing for you, is that you're at home, coin flip game, you're at home, have you beating UCF. So out of your second bye, you're 4-3, coming into your last 5 games. You're home against Texas Tech. This is going to be a tough game for you, again, like a coin flip game, because a lot of these games, Big 12 schools, a lot of them very evenly matched. This is going to be a coin flip. You're at home, I'm having you beating Texas Tech. Then you're on the road at Kansas. You lost by 7 at home last year. And now you're on the road. And they have a bye the week before, prepare you. You just come out playing Texas Tech. I have you losing to Kansas. Home against Cincinnati, just did this, you're beating Cincinnati. On the road at Utah, this is where cross-country travel is going to hurt you. You're heading out to Utah, high altitude, and you're losing on the road at Utah. And then home against Kansas State to finish off the season. You beat them by 7 on the road last year. Your defense is going to be on there. I think it's going to be gelling. And you beat them by 7 on the road. I have you beating Kansas State at home this year to finish 7-5, 5-4 in conference. So that means, wrapping everything out, the predictions, I have Cincinnati going 4-8, 2-7 in conference. I have Colorado 5-7, 2-7 in conference. I have Houston 3-9, 1-8 in conference, and I have Iowa State 7-5, 5-4 in conference. And all this lovely note paper I use from work. So now it's time for you to yell at me and tell me where I screwed up, what I did wrong, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Let me know in the comments. So thanks everybody for watching this video. If you haven't done it already, do me a favor. Smash the like button, hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, helps the video be seen by more people. Comment on the video. Let me know what you think. You agree or disagree with Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, and Iowa State. Part 3 is tomorrow. Share the video if you want to, and if you haven't done it already, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Those who subscribe, thank you. Those who haven't, hey, check out the videos I've done. Go back in the back, check some out. You know, let me go back a little bit because this is the middle of schedule previews, this 7-week period. For those who are new to the channel and don't understand, this is time of the year I do my schedule previews right before the start of the year. 2 weeks ago was the ACC. Last week was the Big Ten. This week's the Big 12. Next week is the SEC. And then we go from there is going to be into, and I probably am putting in after the SEC video, I'm probably going to be putting in a one of the first of the prediction videos for all the schools, the subscriber schools, which hasn't been mentioned yet. That'd be subscriber roll call on Friday. But the first 3 schools, like I mentioned, that weren't in one of the conferences listed, video will be there. And then the following week is going to be the American. Then we're going to combine the Mountain West and the Pac-12. That puts 14 schools between the two. Pac-12 will be 3 videos. The fourth will be the Mountain West will be 3 videos. The Pac-12 will be the fourth. And then it's going to be the Sun Belt. And it'll be, like I said, between the American, the Mountain West, the Sun Belt, there's any extra days, I'm going to throw in all the extra individual schools. Because we got one from Division III, Wisconsin Whitewater. And we got North Dakota, we just mentioned, from FCS, where they want to do a schedule prediction for them as well. So I'll be doing that as well. And then that week of the Sun Belt will be, I'm trying to get all the individual schools done before then. Sun Belt prediction Monday through Thursday. Friday is giving my predictions for the college football playoff and the national championship, recapping all the championship games. Saturday is week 0 kickoff, August 24th. Week 0 kicks off that Saturday. We're almost here. So, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate if you did all of those. If you want to follow me on Twitter, on X, the link for that will be in the description. So thanks everybody for watching. Whew. Life gets in the way, huh? Yeah, they're loading me up here. I don't even know where the heck. Oh, yeah, I'm in Asheboro, North Carolina. But it's the way things go. I bounce around North Carolina for a few days, it looks like. So thanks, everybody, for watching. I was having a great day. Be safe out there, and please be good to each other.